Finland's second most northern town, Rovaniemi, Anna-Mari Rytkönen has a challenging task ahead of her. She is a student at Lapland University, studying textile and clothing design at the Faculty of Art, and has been asked to design a wardrobe for a travel business, Korvala's Coaching Inn, in the village of Tiainen, based on articles of clothing over 100 years old.
Hyvin vähän, eli se rajoittuu enemmän tuommoisiin jalkineisiin.
Joo. Tässä on miesten housut.
On niitä muutama, mutta hyvin vähän on miesten.
Pellava palttina, polvipituiset housut, taskut, sivusalmien yhteen.
At the local museum of Pöykkölä, maintained by the Toto Association, Anna-Mari studies the dressing habits of the 1800s. As well as the information she needs about the clothes, Anna-Mari also discovers the local names and origins of them. With the help of the museum's caretaker, Risto Kinnunen, she is able to study the original suits and accessories up close, in addition to studying literature on the area's traditions and information from wills and testaments. She finds tips on the colours of petticoats, the patterns of stripes, the fabric and the structure, information which the layman would not necessarily notice. Images of clothes of time gone by start to take form. Faces, immortalized 130 years ago, follow Anna-Mari as she works on her sketches, comparing results with photocopies. However, the idea is not to make exact copies of the clothes, but to combine and apply the influences of the 1800s, thus creating for each member of staff at Korvala's Inn their own costume with the spirit and atmosphere of the time period concerned. A 60-kilometre journey takes us north from Rovaniemi across the Arctic Circle to the village of Tiainen in the region of Nampa. Korvala's Coaching Inn is one of the oldest travel businesses in Lapland, having been established in 1889. A village meeting is taking place in the main building at Korvala, owned by Jana and Seppo Näsi. Plans for the Christmas program are gone through, so that clients from both home and abroad will have their expectations fulfilled once again this year.
Elikkä varmaan kaikki sitten lähtee siltä pohjalta, että meidän täytyy tehdä se aikamatka sinne 1800-luvulle. Ja tämä puvustuksen ajatushan olikin se, että myös nämä matkalaiset sekä me kyläläiset täällä näin, niin
the villagers and other staff are now able to see, for the first time, the designs made by Anna-Mari for the costumes they will be wearing in a few months' time when they welcome travellers wanting to experience Lapland's magic.
Vaatekaupasta löytyy vielä 20 vuotta vanhojakin vaatteita ja on sitten niitä eilen ostettuja.
The events making up the Christmas program are planned and coordinated by Jana Näsi. Some of the Christmas travellers are at Korvala for only a day. There is no room for mistakes. The events are worked on in small groups with the aid of quality handbooks and teamwork.
Ja meillä on sitten jokaisella ryhmällä ollut tämmöinen laatukäsikirja, joka on käyty läpi, eli tässä on vähän yritetty ennakoida aina.
The Christmas program will involve almost the whole village, and there is enough work for everyone, from opening snowmobile trails to sewing buttons. Those with sewing skills are greatly needed. The aim is to make over 30 complete costumes.
Onko kysymyksiä?
siinä on niin paljon semmoisia käsiompelujuttuja ja nappien ompelua ja sitä silittämistä ja kovitekankaita ja kaikkien tämmöisten silittämisiä ja muuta. Että kyllä varmasti apureitakin olisi tarpeen, että niin kyllä siinä, esimerkiksi kokin takki me laskimme 56 nappia ja napureita 2 takkiin pitää olla. Niin jos kaikki on yhtä työläjää, niin varmasti on sitten napin ja reijän tekemistä, mutta toivottavasti ei ole yhtä monta reikää muissa vaatteissa.
Planning the costumes is part of Anna-Mari's studies for her master's degree at the Department of Textile and Clothing Design. She gained useful information and help with prototypes through a research and product development project called The Enchantment of Lapland's Textiles and Clothing.
Tässä on takakappale ja selohiha.
Joo.
Ja tässä on nyt sitten vuorinkaava ja vatiini on sama.
Joo.
Ja vatiinista otetaan sitten täältä tää palanen pois. Eli sinne kainaloon ei tarvitse liian paljon jäädä sitä materiaalia.
Patterns for the men's clothing were done by Kirsti Kinnunen according to Anna-Mari's
Ja
designs.
täällä on sitten ne tämmöiset syötöksen merkit, eli toi
Anna-Mari asks for last-minute sewing tips from lecturer Leena Maakanen. In addition to making the outer clothes thick and warm to keep out the frost, they also had to look presentable and had to be practical.
Täällä ylhäällä, kun sulla kaulus tulee, niin tuleeko tähän sitten mitään niin kuin nappia?
Ei tullut päälle päin ollenkaan, kun se
Eli kaada tämä sitten niin ylös, kun saa.
The costumes are made from scratch by hand. Close to Korvala, in the building which once thronged with schoolchildren, Katri Pietisjärvi, a textile designer, recreates the striped fabric of the 1800s, from which skirts for the women will soon be made. Thin woolen thread is intensively woven on a hand loom, the same way women from southern Lapland showed their skills in the 1800s. The first arrival of Christmas guests is still a couple of months away. Anna-Mari's designs are now patterns and fabrics in Korvala's main building.
Tässä on tämän saumurihomman siihen, kun se tulee vetaan kokin housuja, niin kokilla täytyy olla 2 passasta tässä heti, että jos sitten menee se pikaisesti.
Part of the costumes are made using the hand-woven woolen fabric, and when that is not practical, easy care modern fabric is used. Clothes from history are recreated to the hum of sewing machines under the guiding hands of Marketa Näsi, Sylvi Mölleri and Asta Krupula. The women cut, tack, sew and iron, often into the small hours of the morning.
hyvin ne näytti istuvan, mutta vähän Pekka ihmetteli sitä nappisysteemiä, että miten hän
Niin.
nappien kanssa se leviää, mutta
Sitä ei ole siihen aikaan ollut niitä vetoketjuja torssuilla.
hyvin ajettiin nappeja laittaa siihen.
The activity at Korvala has aroused interest amongst journalists, and at the beginning of December there is a press conference. Anna-Mari's and the villagers' job is nearly done. The end results are the centre of attention. Many have their costumes on for the first time, as they step out in front of the cameras. The true test, though, is still ahead. In a couple of weeks the first guests arrive, and only then will the functionality of the costumes become apparent.
Ollaan perinteistä joulua järjestämässä ja juhlaa, niin kokillakin on juhlavat napit. Sitten naisilla on myös tämä kaustanatakki ja 3 eri värissä, koska saatiin nämä signaalivärit sitten matkaajat tunnistaa oman oppaansa näiden signaalien mukaisesti. Sylvi on tuossa kesänavetan pulmanmehun tarjoilussa ja hänellä on tummaa sen takia, että siellä ollaan tulen kanssa tekemisissä, voi tulla nokeaa ja muuta, niin sitten on värit vähän tummemmat. Ja Heli on nyt sitten
Väärällä paikalla.
puuhaamassa, mutta näin nähdään myös, että hame toimii myös, kun on siunattussa tilassa.
3 päivän päästä synnytystä.
As well as presenting the clothes, the occasion is also used to talk about Korvala in general. Jana and Sepponäsi described the forthcoming Christmas program.
Mutta takana oli sitten
Tarja Tammia from Lapland University's Continuing Education Unit uses the opportunity to outline the activities of the EU-funded Recite 2 program, which includes the Nampa region, amongst
Sen
others.
kylä on tosissaan on yksi pilottikylä ja tavoitteena on tämmöisten pienten ja syrjäisten alueiden kylien kehittäminen ja siellä tulee myöskin sitten tietenkin matkailu mukaan sitten.
mitenkä minä vaan jalat. Mulla ei lääkkeistä sukkauttavaa.
The press also have the chance to see an example of the program's aims in its Learning Sustainability project. Here is a tourism enterprise which enlivens the village community, where handwork skills and valuable cultural traditions create new possibilities for the new millennium. Seven costumes travel to Rovaniemi as part of the Flames of Enchantment exhibition. Anna-Mari's designs are also a good example of this project. She has combined history, tradition and modern practicality in both design and choice of fabric. It's the busiest day of the year at Rovaniemi Airport. Travellers have their first experience of snow and ice as soon as they get out of the aeroplane, as well as their first encounter with Korvala's traditions. Their guides meet their groups at the airport, all dressed up in Anna-Mari's designs. At Korvala, there's a small handicraft and gift shop where final preparations of Christmas products are being made in time for the visitors' arrival. On the shelves there are collections of textiles, toys and decorations, displaying the style of southern Lapland and the spirit of Christmas, made mostly by the villagers using traditional wood, wool and cotton. Tourism founded on local traditions is regarded as a characteristic of sustainable development. Products based on tradition are an important part of a travel experience, but also a way in which Finland's and Lapland's handiwork culture can be preserved. Anna-Mari's designs contribute to this ideal in addition to its other aims at Korvala. The villagers, dressed in their traditional costumes, will soon be packing many a parcel for Christmas trees waiting far away.
Lapset ainakin oli niin väsyneet.
No nehän on jo 5 lähtenyt tänä aamuna englannin aikaan. Niin
In Korvala's main building, everyone has been busy since the early hours of the morning. Later on, the dining rooms will be serving a traditional Finnish Christmas dinner to nearly 130 English travellers. Pekka Luukonen gets dressed up in a cook's outfit, showing its European influences and level of seniority. The design has remained the same for hundreds of years. Nowadays it's made of fabric fulfilling the requirements of food preparation standards.
Pekka puhelimessa. No terve. Jaha, missä ryhmissä ne on? Eri ryhmissä. Otahanko vielä vähän kylään täältä jostakin? Joo, eli Heidin ryhmässä oli 1 pyörätuoli.
Upstairs, piles of clothes wait for their wearers. As the men prepare the horses, reindeer and snowmobiles for the evening's activities, the women add their finishing touches to their costumes. Over their shoulders they tie a decorative scarf, which women from the 1800s in southern Lapland bought from travelling Russian merchants. Having once acquired a scarf, women took great care of it, as they would any precious object. The sleeves reveal the style to be that of the end of the 1800s with their puffed shoulders, and the fabric is of rare camel hair, which was sewn together by travelling tailors or local dressmakers using new sewing machines.
ei tässä kuulkaa voi päästä myydä.
On, riittävää. Hyvä väri niin. Kyllä se on joo, ei ainakaan laita.
Guests are due to arrive at Korvala in a couple of hours.
Raskas pani.
Jana Wixnäsi organises the lighting of candles. At Korvala there are no street lights. Twilight starts to set in around 2 o'clock.
Mikä oli se sytytyshomma nyt sitten?
Joo, jos sulla on, sä pääset nyt kaikkiin hevosreittiä pitkin voit laittaa nyt jo palaa.
Jana is dressed in a long coat called a tupukka, made from fine broadcloth. Velvet hoods and muffs were passed on from mother to daughter because of their value.
Okei, hyvää päivää teille.
Samoin.
Horse and reindeer-drawn sleighs around the frozen lake and in the forest are arranged for the guests. At -20, the horses are still being kept in the stables. but the sleighs are ready to go. By the shores of the lake, the staff have set the table made of ice and are ready to serve warm drinks to guests as they arrive. After the buses have arrived from the airport, the guests are dressed in snowsuits and woolen hats and gloves. For many, -22 can be quite a shock, but the cold is eased with a cup of coffee by the outbuildings. Children and their parents soon learn the art of playing in the snow. Korvala's owner, Seppo Näsi, has a long coat called a sortuutti, with influences from the military coats of the 1700s. The coat was used inside on special occasions and outside when made of warmer fabric. Guests at Korvala have the opportunity to drive snowmobiles, catch a ride with reindeer and horses, as well as in sleighs pulled by teams of huskies. In addition to meeting Santa and his elves, they can also try skiing, ice fishing and tobogganing. They also have a traditional Finnish Christmas dinner and take part in a ceremony to celebrate their crossing of the Arctic Circle. Anna-Mari's designs bring the 1800s back into Korvala's Christmas celebrations. Guests have the chance to see a glimmer of history and traditional village economy in a place where the southern Lapland and Sami cultures combine to give present-day opportunities